impossible to put any kind of humor into a story of that nature. Because it is about child abuse in the family. And when I wrote the story and sent it to the publishers, they apparently they said they sent it out to various schools and principals and teachers and other parents and things like that. And they got, the story is about child abuse, and in the story, the father is the person who is doing the abuse. And the feedback I got was, please don't make it the girl's actual father, make it a stepfather who does this, because the children will not be able to accept this or take this. Now I am still in two minds as to whether it is the children who would not be able to take it, or it was the feedback from the teachers and the principals and the parents who would not be able to deal with the situation when the children question them about it. Stepfather, it diluted the strength of the story, but was the only way I could get it out.
Generally, when you write such sensitive topics, do you have any opposition from people who read your books, or do you have some trouble getting them published?
I always thought that I would have trouble getting them published, but I was lucky with Smitten that Young Zoban took it straight away, and even Faces in the Water they took straight away. Apparently, Puffin took it. So that way, the publishing thing is improving, but they are still very conservative. They are relatively conservative in various aspects. Like, in fact, I've done a whole series of, there are about 80 or 90 short stories. And two main characters, there's a little boy about 12 and a half and a girl of 10. And all these are short stories. It starts when they're 10 and they're 12 and a half, and it finishes when they're 16 and 18 and a half, which means they're two very different people at the beginning of the stories and at the end of the stories. And these are all basically love stories. It starts with their friendship and how that develops as they grow. I haven't found a publisher for that yet. Now the main sort of reason they say is, what age group do we properly for? Who do we, put this, does the kids go? I said, well, you have it in 3 volumes and you segregate them if you want that segregation at all. So as yet I'm still looking for somebody who's sort of willing to take that on. But these are the kind of problems that you do sometimes, so that you do face.
So, as you told that when you were a child, you did not have any interest in writing books. You were more interested on automobiles and automobile engineering. So, do you ever thought that if you were not an author, then which field you will go when you were not an author? Means you can go in automobiles, or you will. Were there any different hobbies or different plans?
Well, I could have done maybe photography or whatever, I know that, but the health restrictions were quite sort of severe, so that curtailed quite a lot of what I could do and what I couldn't do. And writing was one of these. I do take pictures, but I write articles. I often have my pictures with them, they're photo features. So to that extent, I do use photography in my work as well. So otherwise, it would have been a tough nut. I don't know what I would have done.
So, how important is an author and an editor's relationship?
Oh, it's make or break for the book. Because if the editor is on the same page as the author, then he or she can make the book, improve the book considerably. And for example, even with many of my books, you send the manuscript in, and you get back this edited version or whatever, and sometimes they don't mark. The marks are not, the edited marks are not there. So you're just reading as plain text, and then you say, wow, I've really written very well. There are no corrections or no errors or whatever it is. And then you look at what you really sent them, and then you see the kind of hard work that they have put in. And then you say, oh my God, you should really improve now. Next time you write, you better be a little careful how long your sentences are and all the rest of it. So they do sometimes do a good job, but when they don't do a good job, then you can be in trouble. Because sometimes they don't read the story properly. So and in the story very often, if you change one bit, the whole thing comes crashing down. So you have to read that also sort of quite carefully.
How can you compare reading a good story and writing a good story? Like, how can you differentiate them?
Well, see, with writing, what happens is for any writer, at least with most writers, when you finish writing something and you read it, it will seem like perfect. It's like as though it's written by God. Not one error, nothing wrong with it. Perfect. Don't you dare say that this is wrong or this is incorrect or this is not grammatically right or whatever. It's absolutely perfect. The best you do is you put it away for a little while, for 2 weeks, and then you read it when your memory is not so fresh and you are not so close to your own writing. And then you will see all these errors come jumping up at you, saying, ha, here we are, you missed us, cut. And you can cut quite easily. And it doesn't hurt you so much because, you're no longer, so you're working on something else maybe, you're no longer so close to it. And you know that it can be better. If one sentence of you took 100 words, and you can say the same thing in 10 words or 15 words, then obviously that's editing is required very badly.
Most of your books contain Hindu or you can say Indian kind of names like Altu, Faltu and all that. Why not those Western kind of names like John, Jack and all?
Because I don't know any John and Jack and I really don't know you guys. So I can't write about those blonde, blue-eyed things. I used to beat in Eden Brighton and all that. She served her own purpose and all that. You don't meet them. I never met a Charlotte or anything like that. So one wouldn't mind meeting perhaps, but one hasn't. So.
So, one of your book, Altu Faltu, you have compared humans with monkeys. So how do you make that connection between humans and animals?
Because they're so similar. Actually, even to this day, I am not sure whether we are more like monkeys or monkeys are more like us. So it's so close that it's very difficult to draw the line. So I always see these similarities, that this is happening, this also happens in our society. So it's, that's what makes, you have to make these connections. That's where you get your ideas from.
Because you are inspired, your characters are mostly inspired by people you meet or see or live with. Have we inspired you in any way to create some of these characters?
Wait and watch.
If we think of young readers, especially the age group that we are dealing with, because video games and TV, movies are so exciting, they tend to skip reading. So how do we encourage these people to be young readers?
I think, the only real way is to ban it, but ban is not a thing that we can do in this country. We should not be doing in this country. Now, the thing is to show them the kind of damage that this kind of, looking at videos, just seeing videos or video games or movies or, things like that can do to you. Because what it does is it stops you from using your imagination. And if a child does not use imagination, no matter what you do later on in life, whether you want to be an accountant or a zoologist, you don't have imagination, you're not going to get anywhere. Because it's that imagination that gives you ideas, that enables you to make links between two different things and make that link work and produce something new. And imagination can only be brought out by reading. Because, I always ask kids,